Welcome back. I'm Dr. Rob Melillo. A lot of what we're going to cover on this show is looking specifically at what's going on in the brain and the nervous system and the body in these issues and in issues with special needs. So I want to start off by talking about one of the most basic principles that I talk about in my books and that we look at brain balance, and that's the left and the right brain. We have two different hemispheres and they do really completely different things. And so I want to discuss how they work differently. The left side of the brain is really the side of the brain that is more controlled with the small picture. It's about details. It's about looking at the world and breaking it up into little pieces, looking at it logically, linearly, sequentially, one step at a time. The right side of the brain looks at the big picture. It doesn't look at anything individually. It looks at everything all at once at the same time and gets an overall, what we call, gist of the picture of the brain. The right side of the brain is really the social, emotional side of the brain. It has nonverbal communication, whereas the left side of the brain controls verbal communication and more basic academic skills like math and science. There's a lot more as far as how they control the immune system, the digestive system, and in future shows we're going to really talk about this and explore this in great detail. But what we see is that all of these disorders really are related to developmental disabilities or delays of development in one side of the brain or the other. Almost all of these issues that we're going to discuss are related to certain areas of the brain being too strong, along with other side of the brain being too weak or developmentally delayed. So what we want to do now is we want to actually look at this in a real world case where we're going to go back to Therese Carey, who just got the wonderful makeover from Carolyn, and we're going to discuss her son Alex struggles with Asperger's and ADHD, which are all really right hemisphere delays. These are neurological issues that are part of the autism spectrum disorder, or what we call ASD. Therese, welcome. You look beautiful, by the way. Carolyn did a wonderful job. So I want to talk about Alex and talk about his diagnosis or his label of Asperger's and ADHD. When did you come across that and what have you done about it?
Well, he was about 4 when he was diagnosed with autism, and we have tried many things over the years. We've had some wonderful success in school with wonderful teachers, and he's had occupational therapy and speech therapy, social skills groups, all of which has helped somewhat. But it wasn't until we found Brain Balance that everything started clicking and everything started working together.
That's great. Well, how did you actually come across Brain Balance? Because that was an interesting story that you told me.
Well, first, I was reading a book. I was in the library and I was looking for a book about autism, just kind of looking, and I found Disconnected Kids. And I started reading it. I was like, wow, this is really neat. And I read some more about it. I thought, oh, maybe I should try this, doing it at home. And so then a few weeks later, I saw an article in our paper at home, and it was about Brain Balance. And I believe it was about the Springfield Center just opening up. And then a few weeks after that, maybe a month after that, I got a phone call from my brother who lives in South Carolina, and he had been talking with this couple, this older couple who were raising their grandson. And when he had Asperger's, or autism rather, he had autism, and he couldn't speak, he was nonverbal, and he had gone through the Brain Balance program, and they were just raving about it and saying how much it had helped their son. He could now speak. He was going to a regular school and special ed classes, but he had come such a long way.
Wow.
So my brother had to call me and tell me this.
Yeah, of course, and that's how the universe works, right? So what changes have you seen with Alex?
Tremendous changes. We've seen some physical changes in physical ability. He can run now, which he really couldn't do before.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, he can go across the monkey bars, things like that. But really, the most important things that I've seen have been an increased ability to focus. Still working on it, still not there yet, but increased ability to focus and empathy. He is now really just in this past week starting to show some real signs of empathy, and it's
So,
amazing.
and that's really the issue, especially with Asperger's and with a lot of these right brain developmental delays, is that empathy and that nonverbal communication. And you've seen significant changes with that, right?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Now, what you also told me was that his doctor had actually taken him off medication that he was on.
Right. He had been through the Brain Balance program 12 weeks, and then it had been maybe about a year. And I was concerned that he was on this medication for his ADHD symptoms primarily. And he was on like 3 or 4 different medications. So I spoke with the doctor, and she said, well, let's try taking him off. It's, it's starting to be the summer. It was like in June. Let's, taper him off. We did it, according to the doctor's directions, and tapered off. And meanwhile, the nutritionist at Brain Balance had worked with us to put him on a special diet that was anti-inflammatory that would help him deal with these changes going on getting off this medication. And the diet was tough, but it was good, and it worked really, that and everything else we've been doing in Brain Balance, because we started another 12-week session right around the same time.
Right.
He's really doing a lot better.
Well, that is fantastic. And what you highlight there is really important, because we're really talking about part of what we do is also look at diet, nutrition, and eliminate certain foods that may be triggering an immune or inflammatory response.
Yes.
So actually, this is the whole piece of what we do. And Brain Balance has a complete program that does motor, sensory, academic, cognitive skills, and behavioral modification. And Alex actually enjoyed going there, right?
Oh, he did. He loved it.
Yeah.
Yes, and he loved the people there too.
So that's great. Well, thank you so much. And this is a perfect lead-in, because stay with us, because we're coming up next is I'm joined by Laura Hahn, a chef who specializes in gluten-free cooking, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Dr. Rob Show. I'm Dr. Rob Melillo. Now joining me is gluten-free chef Laura Hahn from Sweet Christine's Bakery in Delaware. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Great. What a lot of people may or may not understand is that almost all of the children and many of the families that we deal with, they have these gluten sensitivities or dairy sensitivities or egg sensitivities, and it's one of the biggest challenges is to try to find foods and make foods that taste good. So what do you have for us today?
I have 2 of my favorite recipes. First one is peanut butter cookies.
Ooh.
They're so easy to do. They're gluten-free, but you can do them with anything you have at home. So you don't have to worry about getting gluten-free flours or any of those special ingredients. The second one we serve in our cafe at the bakery. It's probably our #1 seller. It's our chicken sliders.
Oh,
really easy
wow.
to do. Everything goes in the slow cooker. You come home from work, school, and it's ready to go.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so
All right.
let's go.
You're going to help me with this one. So it's a kid-friendly recipe. The whole idea of it is a 1-to-1 ratio for everything. So in this bowl, you have 1 cup of peanut butter.
Okay.
You're going to add 1 cup of sugar.
So you want me to do that
Yeah,
now?
just pour it right in.
Carolyn's going to tell you how I don't usually the whole thing, right?
You can't screw it up. It's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
I can screw it up, believe me.
All
And
right.
now I have to stir it?
Yeah, start
okay,
stirring.
here we go.
I'm going to add 1 egg. There you go.
Okay, I can stir. That's the one thing I'm really good at cooking.
You're doing a great
See,
job.
honey, I can cook.
Now 1 teaspoon of baking soda,
Okay, baking soda.
1 teaspoon of vanilla. Oh, you're doing awesome.
Hey, I'm trying my best here. You're a great instructor.
And now 1 pinch of salt.
Okay,
There
one
you
pinch
go.
of salt. There we go. It looks good.
So
I love
there's
peanut butter.
No flour, no butter. Really easy recipe, so it's dairy-free too.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
And you can see it's starting to look like cookie dough.
Yeah, yeah.
So you keep mixing, you just roll it into little balls, stick it onto a cookie tray, 350 degrees, exactly 10 minutes, and you're done. And there you go.
Awesome. Can I try one?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
They're awesome.
I've always wanted to do that on a show. You know,
the
when
one
you
bite.
see people eat them, and it's like, wow, I wish I could eat them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
So barbecue chicken sliders are great. The biggest thing if you're gluten-free is barbecue sauce. You have to be really careful. You probably know about this.
Absolutely.
Gluten is in a lot of wheat and bread products, but gluten's also in sauces. So with barbecue sauce, you need to be really careful. The caramel color, the artificial flavorings, all of that stuff can contain gluten. So with barbecue sauce, the best thing to stick with is Kraft. Anything Kraft is gluten-free.
That's great to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So in this slow cooker, I have some chicken breast, plain chicken breast. If you want to use chicken thighs just to save a little bit of money, that works too. I'm just going to add 1 cup of barbecue sauce.
That's good. We'll go back to you doing the cooking.
I try, sorry. Okay. Then this is half of a white onion that I just cut up nice and small. Throw that in there. Can't cook anything without salt and pepper. So
Of course not.
a little
Especially
sprinkle of
pepper.
salt. A little sprinkle of pepper.
Okay.
And
That's
that's it.
looking great. Smells great.
Yeah, slow cookers are awesome. It's so easy to do. Just give it a little toss.
We laugh all the time because when you say it's so easy, I know my wife is thinking, not for him, it wouldn't be.
No, you couldn't
But
mess this up.
fortunately, my boys are great. Carolyn has really influenced them. They're great cooks. They love to cook.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I
actually
love
do.
to eat, so it matches.
We do a similar recipe with salsa. You could do the same kind of idea and get like a Mexican flair to the chicken sliders.
Great.
So I put everything in, just gonna turn it on low, let it go for about 8 hours. Go to work, go to school, come home, and it's done. You just take 2 forks, shred all the meat, and that's what you get.
And then
And then you just put it into a slider. So these are our slider rolls from the bakery.
They look
Probably
delicious.
the only gluten-free slider roll I've ever seen. They're
I've
amazing.
never seen that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's like a potato bread. It's nice and sweet. So you just put the chicken right in there, and there you go.
Great. And I know kids will love that. Kids
Oh, yeah.
have to go nuts over that.
It's
because-
fun. It's little. It's easy to eat.
Yeah, they love the little sandwiches, and again, who doesn't love pulled pork, right? I mean, I go crazy of it. And to find the gluten-free bread, that's probably one of the hardest things for people to do, to find that kids are going to eat it, you know? So this is wonderful. So we see that you have all of this great stuff together. We also see that you have other things that you've brought us there. So we have breads, we have what is that?
Muffins.
Banana chocolate muffins there?
Yep,
That was great.
nice
And we
big
also have a
muffins.
cake, a Dr. Rob cake, the Dr. Rob Show cake, which is fantastic. I
Yeah,
can't
we
wait
do
to eat it.
specialty cakes at the bakery. We can do vegan cakes for people that have dairy issues too.
And that cake is gluten-free?
It is absolutely gluten-free. Everything's 100% gluten-free.
And dairy-free and egg-free, or we got
That
the-
one is not. That's just
Okay.
gluten-free.
And that's great. I mean, like I said, this is one of the biggest issues that we find. And what people don't realize is that this has so much to do with brain, and the reason why children with autism and ADHD almost always have food sensitivities is really because the brain controls the digestive system and the immune system. And we're going to explore a lot of that as we go through the show because this is really important. But eliminating these foods and reducing that inflammation in the body is really important. And what most people don't realize is this whole gluten-free movement really started in the autism community.
Yeah.
That's where it started. So, you know, we'll be great. And I know that you also had some struggles yourself with that, right?
Yeah, I'd gotten really sick. I was actually deployed in Iraq and got really bad food poisoning. They didn't know what it was, and they kept bringing me bread and crackers and chips to my room, and got sicker and sicker and sicker. I ended up getting transfusions every day, and no one knew what was going on.
And it was gluten sensitivity.
It was gluten the whole time.
That's fantastic that you found out about that
Yeah.
and that you've been able to go out there and now help people. So that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank you
it's
so
great.
much. It was
Thank
really
you.
great having you here. While Chef Laura and I have been creating delicious meals and snacks, Carolyn has been very busy in our arts and crafts corner with some of our very special guests. Carolyn, what do you have going on over there?
Thanks, Rob. Hi, today we're making winter ornaments, and I have my friends here, Grayson, Aiden, and Brianna to help me. This is a great project to engage your children with. They are fun, they are household items that you have, so it won't cost you a lot of money. You can look outside for pine cones, for shells on the beach. Kids, why don't everybody grab a Q-tip, which you also have in your house. They're going to start painting with it. Here's some gold and silver, and they will cover the items completely with the paint, or they can go straight to sparkles. Of course, anything you cover in sparkles looks beautiful. Moms, when they're dry, you take ribbon, you cut them into bows, you take the object, you hot glue it to the front, and you can hang it. You can hang it on a bottle of soda or wine. We're using soda because it's the children's show. They make great gifts when you use ribbon on a present. Just to add the little thing on top really makes the gift shine. I have here ornaments, I have pasta shells, I have seashells, I have pine cones, I have cinnamon sticks wrapped in gold ribbon. I know kids like to have color, so if your kids prefer color, there are many different colored ribbons, sparkles, things like that, but even the simplest seashell when given to grandma, is just a pretty little gift to give. Just a thoughtful gift for your teacher. Kids, what do you think? Do you like this? Yes! You love it! So anyway, it's just a little something to do with your children, something to brighten their day, a nice activity to do when they're on vacation, to take up some time and make something beautiful. On the bottom of a tree, especially when you have small children, you fill the bottom of the tree with these ornaments and nothing can be broken. It's all replaceable. And I'm tossing it back to you, honey.
Thanks, Carolyn, and thanks all of you at home for joining us. Don't forget to tune in next time when we are joined by another family who has turned their sons' lives around as a result of the Brain Balance program. Thanks for watching.